Yes, people, so welcome back to the channel. It's your favorite property brothers here again. So today we're going to answer the question, how much does it actually cost to start up your own Airbnb unit? So we're not going to speak about the business aspects today because they're sort of secondary. The main money that you need ready is to start up your unit. Now, we've seen a lot of these videos online, to be fair. There's a lot of answers to this question, but frankly, they're quite shit. Like, it's the only way I can possibly say it. They're dodging the question. They're not really answering it. So that's what we're going to do in this video right here. That's what you can see this whiteboard is about, and it's going to allow you to have a visual of the exact solution to your question. Because hopefully by the end of this, it should be a short video, and you should have a clear idea of how much it costs and what costs you should expect. And he's going to start, and the way we're going to do it is actually quite specifically. We're going to go through our first ever deal, the one that we basically made the most mistakes on, and our last deal, isn't it? Our last deal. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to realize the difference between A and B. Because the actual answer to how much does it cost is what? It's like it depends. It depends on the deal, it depends on where, it depends on what, it depends on the furnishing and stuff like that. But we'll show you the difference to see what the costs were, to give you like a good range, if that makes sense, so you know roughly where to. Because I'm not going to tell you it depends, but it can cost £1. It can never cost £1, mate. It never will cost £1. But it also shouldn't cost 12,000, 10,000. It shouldn't be near 10,000 to be fair, especially if you're investing in the Midlands. So we'll go through those deals with you, and it'll allow you to basically get a good idea of how much it actually should cost and how much you should have saved.
Alright, so the way we're going to do is, as you said before, is we're going to go over the first deal. I'm going to go over that right now. So just to put in mind before I get into this, both of these deals were a similar sort of property in a similar location as well, just to give you a better idea of how much has changed, for example, not to give anything away. But for the first deal, the first cost we had, skipping obviously all the business costs, was the depot. So that depot was the first month's rent. So the way you find the first month's rent, for example, if you're looking to obviously look at what the depot will be for your own property, is to research the area and see whatever the rent is, and it's literally that rent will be the depot. That's exactly what the landlord would ask for. So the landlord asked for 1,100 for the deposit, and obviously we had no way around it, so we had no choice. We had no choice but to accept it. So we gave him 1,100 for that deposit, and that deposit was the first month's rent. So that is the first cost that will go out of your account, and that will be the depot. The next cost after that 1,100 depot for us was furnishing. Now, we didn't furnish the best, we didn't furnish the smartest, we got the most expensive stuff because we thought price and quality match. We thought that the highest priced things were always the highest quality. We thought lower priced things they're not the best quality, and they're not quality that we'd want in the property. So the amount we actually paid for furnishing was £5,500. Don't laugh at us, I know it's obviously a lot higher than people tell you online and stuff like that, but we obviously weren't the smartest when it came to furnishing for our first ever deal. So that's why we spent £5,500 on furnishing. Obviously it was furnished very well, and there's been no complaints about the furnishing or anything like that. All of the beds and the tables and the chairs, they've all sustained, so they've all had a good lifespan, for example. They've not broken or anything like that, so no complaints there. But we could have obviously spent a lot less. So that's how much is so far: 1,100 for the deposit, and the second cost was 5,500 for the furnishing. Now for the third cost, that is automating. So that is putting these security systems in place in order to make it a hands-off business sort of thing. So we don't have to do check-ins, we don't have to go to visit the property to see who's in it. We know exactly who's in the property. We also have a device in the property which lets us know how loud the guests are being. So that was about £400 for us. So then that's 1,100 for depot, 5,500 for furnishing, which obviously includes the beds, the art, all the supplies all the appliances in the kitchen and stuff like that, all the sofas, all of the TV, everything like that. That was all our furnishing costs. And then for automating was stuff such as the minute device, which I was speaking about earlier, about knowing how much noise the guests are actually making, and also the Ring camera and any other things we had to put in place in order to be at the property without being at the property, if you know what I'm trying to say. So that was our total cost for the first property, and that was £7,000 exactly on the dot. And as you can see, there was a lot of room to cut down costs, especially with the furnishing. But because it was our first property, We genuinely didn't know any better, and that's exactly why we made this video today, because we're going to show you the difference between our first property and our last property, and he's going to go over and explain the second deal right now, just so you can see the difference.
All right, so that was deal number 1 done. That was actually back in 2023, to be honest. So I was like 20 at the time, freshly 20, and he was about 18. He literally just finished A-level. So as he said multiple times, we didn't really know what we were doing, and that meant that the lack of knowledge and the lack of investment into knowledge meant that we spent a lot of money. That's generally what happens. If you don't pay for it before, you'll pay for it after. That's sort of how life works. All right. So now let's look at deal 2. So I'm going to go through deal 2 with you. This is it wasn't our second deal. It's the most recent deal we took on, and again, similar sort of property. It's a flat, city centre flat sort of thing, same bedroom size. So a lot of the things are similar. I just like to think that we've gotten better at the game. We're now a lot more experienced. This is actually, no, instead of writing deal 2, I should probably write what number deal it was. Deal 15. This is deal 15. So let's go through it. Right. So deposit. I don't even know what deposit is anymore. What I mean by that is we've learned how to avoid paying deposits. And no, that doesn't mean scamming landlords. It's not what that means. It means that we've learned about this thing called the DRS. The DRS, the Deposit Replacement Scheme. Google it. It's very, very informative. So the DRS basically means that you pay like a week. You pay a week up front to open up a policy with the DRS, and that ensures a landlord up to 6 weeks of rent. So instead of 4 weeks of rent as a deposit, they get 6 weeks of rent if there's any situation where they need a deposit paid back, if that makes any sense to you. So the DRS, for us, that was it was a week's rent. So it was roughly, I think it was about 250, roughly.
Yeah, around
It was around roughly 250 we paid to open up that policy, and you don't have to like keep going through it once and again. You just pay for it once and the policy is there. You show the landlord the policy number, and they're usually happy with it if you explain it well enough. So that's 250 instead of previously what was like 1100. The rent is like 1,000 for this one as well, so that helped. Furnishing. Okay, what did we learn in furnishing, and what did that then save us? Right. We learned a tremendous amount. Okay, so furnishing is one of the places where you can spend a lot of money or basically cripple yourself financially up front. So we've learned not to do that. So one of the big issues we used to do is we used to go back and forth to IKEA. We don't live near an IKEA, so that meant that we were traveling quite a bit and spending on furniture. It was inefficient, basically. So number one, not only was the furniture slightly more expensive than we needed to pay. I know IKEA isn't expensive, but it's more expensive than we pay right now. And so yeah, so not only was that expensive, but we were also wasting a lot of time. So what we do now is what the smart person does. We use Amazon. We use Amazon to get next day delivery for a few items. Obviously, we don't buy beds off Amazon. That's crazy. But we actually spent this much in furnishing that property to a similar standard, if not a better standard, to be honest, than the previous one. So we use Amazon quite a bit. We use warehouse companies. So like warehouse companies. We use warehouses for like beds, mattresses, like sofas, that sort of thing. So because we take on properties pretty regularly, we have good like connections with warehouses and places like that. And what that allows us to do is to get discounts. If we're going to pay them on a consistent basis, they're happy to give us a slightly cheaper price because we're giving them what everyone wants in this world, consistent cash flow. So we were able to get down to 2,100 and furnished, if not to a better standard.
I'd say better.
I would say slightly better. And then automating. I'm just going to take a lot of time to write this one down. Oh God. All right, automating again, 400. It's important that you automate. When we say automate, I don't know, he explained it well earlier, but I'll just explain it once again. Ring doorbell on the outside of the main doors, or the front door, so you can check if they book for 4 guests. Hopefully 4 people are going in, and if not, you should probably charge them a little bit more. They shouldn't do that. That's really weird. Also, like, you want to make sure that whoever has booked is the person, like the person that's on the ID that you're seeing right in front of you. You want to make sure that that person is at the door, because if not, again, you've got an issue and you might need to. And the Ring doorbell basically allows you to check that without you having to be there. Some people do in-person check-ins. I don't know why. It's like they're like throwing time away. It's like they don't want time to themselves. No. It's a waste of your time. Don't do in-person check-ins. Do stuff like that. Also, for £400, we're buying key safes and even smart locks, for instance, to put on the doors. It just makes our life a lot easier. And as he said, minute devices. So on the walls, we'll have minute devices which basically track noise, and it allows us to basically prevent parties, because our phones will literally ping off at a certain point. Obviously, if it's not loud, if it's not a certain loud, if it's like really loud, our phones will ping off, and then we'll know that they're throwing a party, or we'll know that they're making a lot of noise, and we can just message them, and hopefully they listen. Most of the time they do. Sometimes they don't. To be fair. So that's the total that we spent on this deal. 400 at 2100 at 250, which if I've done my maths correct is 2750.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. So basically, like, look at the difference there. Like, it's crazy. And literally from there to there, the reason that we were able to save that much is because of two things: knowledge and experience. This is not a fluke. We can do it over and over again, and we will do it over and over again. We're now very experienced. We now know a lot about the game, and this experience will save us a lot of money down the line. So this is like where we're such big advocates for like coaching and mentoring and stuff like that. We're such big advocates because it basically means that you will basically, even from these videos alone, you're leveraging knowledge that I now know. If I had this video when I was new, I wouldn't have burned so much money. So like, this is why we are big advocates of mentoring, coaching, that sort of thing. It's always a good idea for yourself. So yeah, take a little bit of advice while you can get it, and hopefully that gives you a rough idea of how much you actually need to spend. This is if you're shit and if you don't know what you're doing and you want to go alone. This is if you're a bit more experienced, if you're leveraging people's knowledge, and that. This is obviously a very good price. I would say average is more like 5k.
Yeah.
Because not everyone can get deposits. Not everyone can do that. Like, Not everyone can get DRS. Most people pay deposits. Like, it's fair. We obviously got DRS because we've got a decent backlog. Making content online obviously helps. So I recommend everyone that's in the space should make content. It literally allows you to have videos to show landlords, to show that you're good at what you do. So it's a good thing to do. So we'd say average is 5,000 to 7,000. If you have any more than that, you're more than safe, and you're probably just procrastinating. If you have any less, get to about 5k and before you really start taking it seriously, or take out credit, like get 0% credit cards. That's what we recommend, that sort of thing. I think that's it. That's all I want to say.
Literally, that's pretty much it. One point that I did forget to mention when speaking about furnishing is obviously it was 5,500, and that also is because we didn't plan exactly what would be in the property, so we just bought and whatever. We're like, oh, this might look good in the property. Bought. One day we were on, what was it, IKEA, like, it was a stupid time. It was like 11 p.m. We were just ordering. We had a fat order from IKEA, and we literally didn't even think about where it would go.
Oh my god, the wooden plank.
We have a wooden plank from our first property. It's still there in my room. A wooden plank, and it's not even been opened yet, and that's still there.
If anyone needs a wooden plank, we got it in mint condition for you guys.
That's it. You know, we'll give it for free. Top comment, most likes in the comment, we'll give it for free. Okay, probably not. I like the wooden plank, but still, my point is that we learned to plan before just buying furniture as well, which just saved a lot of money. That's how we're able to cut down the furnishing cost by such a big amount, to be honest, 3,400. And that's roughly pretty much it. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Is there anything else?
No, man. Just make sure you guys let us know if this was a good video. I'm sure it was, but comment, like, subscribe. Let us know what other types of videos you'll make. We're looking to drop pretty consistent videos, like definitely weekly, maybe bi-weekly, stuff like. 2 times a week. And yeah, just let us know what else you want to see, man. Thank you for your time.